Title card: The Rise and Fall of the Ottoman Empire. Voiceover begins over dramatic orchestral music fading in. Intro: The Shadow of Empires voiceover. Throughout history, empires have risen and fallen, some with a whisper, others with a roar. Among these, one empire stood as a bridge between East and West, between the medieval and the modern world, the Ottoman Empire. Born on the rugged frontier of Anatolia, it would grow into a mighty force, stretching across 3 continents, ruling over tens of millions. Its legacy still echoes in our modern world. In this documentary, we journey through over 6 centuries of glory, conquest, reform, and decline. This is the story of the rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire. Part 1. The Birth of an Empire, 1299 to 1453. Voiceover: The year is 1299. In the dusty plains of Anatolia, a small Turkish beylik, or principality, led by a man named Osman I, begins to expand. The Seljuk Sultanate of Rum had weakened, and the vacuum of power provided an opportunity. Osman, a chieftain of the Kayi tribe, carved a state out of the chaos. His vision and military skill laid the foundation of what would become a vast empire. His name would become immortalized in the empire's very identity, the Ottoman Empire, or Osmanlı Devleti in Turkish. Cut to animation. Map showing expansion under Osman and Orhan. By the mid-14th century, Osman's son Orhan captured Bursa, making it the first major Ottoman capital. The Ottomans were pragmatic rulers. They incorporated Byzantine, Arab, Persian, and Turkic traditions. Their use of Ghazi warriors, fighters for Islam, helped rally support. But they were not only warriors, they were builders of a state. Part 2. The Conquest of Constantinople, 1453. Voiceover: Perhaps the most defining moment in early Ottoman history came in 1453. Enter Sultan Mehmed II, only 21 years old, but brilliant and ambitious. The Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former self, clinging to its ancient capital, Constantinople. Mehmed's vision was clear: to take the city and make it the jewel of his empire. Dramatic reenactment. Siege of Constantinople. Using massive cannons, naval blockades, and clever strategy, Mehmed breached the walls. On May 29, 1453, Constantinople fell. The Byzantine Empire ended. Mehmed rode into the Hagia Sophia, converting it into a mosque. The city was renamed Istanbul and became the Ottoman capital. Mehmed the Conqueror transformed the Ottomans into an imperial power. He reorganized administration, codified laws, and welcomed diverse communities to repopulate the city. Part 3. The Golden Age, 1520 to 1566. Voiceover: The true zenith of Ottoman power came under Sultan Suleiman I, known in the West as Suleiman the Magnificent, and in the East as Kanuni, the Lawgiver. He ruled from 1520 to 1566, overseeing an empire that stretched from Hungary to Yemen, from Algiers to Baghdad. Cut to visual. Ottoman court, architecture, army. Suleiman was a patron of the arts and law. Under his leadership, Ottoman architecture flourished. The architect Mimar Sinan built some of the empire's most iconic structures, including the Suleimani Mosque. Part 6. Reform and Resistance, 1800s. Voiceover: In the 19th century, the Ottomans faced existential threats. Europe's great powers, Britain, France, Russia, now looked at the empire as the sick man of Europe. The empire was still vast, but weakening internally. Reformers within the empire initiated the Tanzimat reforms, 1839 to 1876. These aimed to modernize the military, administration, and legal systems. Railways were built. New schools opened. The Ottoman Constitution of 1876 marked a brief move toward constitutional monarchy. Cut to Sultan Abdul Hamid II portrait, but reform met resistance. Sultan Abdul Hamid II suspended the constitution and ruled autocratically. He built a vast spy network and emphasized Islamic unity as a way to bind the empire. Yet nationalism had taken root. Greeks, Serbs, Bulgarians, Arabs all began to push for independence. Part 7. World War and Collapse. 1908 to 1923. Voiceover. The 20th century brought final reckoning. The Young Turk Revolution in 1908 restored the constitution and introduced parliamentary life. But internal divisions remained deep. Then came World War I. The Ottomans sided with the Central Powers, Germany and Austria-Hungary. The war was disastrous. The British and French invaded from the west and south. The Arabs revolted with British support. The Ottoman economy collapsed. Cut to Gallipoli, Arab Revolt, Sykes-Picot Agreement. After the war, the empire was carved up. The 1918 Armistice of Mudros marked defeat. The Treaty of Sèvres in 1920 dismembered the empire further. It was a death sentence. But one man would not accept that fate. Part 8. The birth of modern Turkey voiceover. Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk, led the Turkish War of Independence against occupying forces. By 1923, the Republic of Turkey was founded. The last Sultan, Mehmed VI, was exiled. The Ottoman Empire, after 624 years, was officially dissolved. Ataturk abolished the caliphate, ushering in a secular nation-state. The Ottoman legacy was swept away in favor of modernization and westernization. Part 9. Legacy of the Ottomans voiceover. The legacy of the Ottoman Empire remains deeply embedded in the lands it once ruled. Its legal, architectural, and cultural influences are still seen across the Middle East, Balkans, and North Africa. Istanbul remains a city of contrasts, where minarets rise beside ancient columns and east meets west. Modern Turkey, though no longer an empire, still grapples with its Ottoman heritage, sometimes embracing it, sometimes rejecting it.